I'm so bad at editing that I'm gonna just do this. Hey amigos, hope all is well. I think helping traders one on part 10, part 11. So, because I'm bad at editing, I was just telling the brother here. What I'm doing, some brown stuff is I just put up a Microsoft PowerPoint and because I don't want to make thumbnails, so that's what it is. Hopefully the
Okay.
content is better than the thing. So, okay, brotherhood. Let's go ahead. So we just got on the voice. I apologize. I made you wait. Um, I tried to be on time, but just through a situation. So I posted on Twitter. I said anybody wants help, happy to go through it. The brother messaged last weekend. I went through a few people. I didn't have the opportunity, so here we are, and we're gonna go over. Well, first off, before we start, I always like to get an understanding. Uh, how long have you been trading for? What is your bread and butter? Give me a bit more about your stats. This is just so that I can give proper feedback. How long is your average winner, average holder? What's your stats, and how long have you been trading for?
Um, right now I've been trading for, well, actually I've been learning, not doing much trading. I've been learning for about 2.5 years now,
Okay.
and I haven't been really trading much, just because I haven't really felt confident in taking like trades.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I first got into trading, I was like doing like all in, you know. It was
YOLO
when I first got
trades.
into trading, it was like during like the crypto 2017, 2018. That's when I started to get in.
Okay.
And yeah, so I started without crypto, and around that time was probably like the top, right? So
Okay.
yeah, and then after that, I just learned, I like, went online and just like bought some DVDs and all that stuff, and I joined that Tim Sykes chat room.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been trading for 2 years, and would you say when you say you've been learning, does that mean you're on a demo account?
No, I'm just like studying a lot, and I have been like doing like a little bit of trades, but then not consistent.
But are we
Like there's
talking
not
real money
like
or demo accounts? What
real
are we
real
talking?
money, real
Okay.
money.
So you've been
Yeah.
trading for 2 years, and in the span of 2 years, you have taken some trades.
Yes.
Okay. Do you keep track stats of your? Do you keep track of your stats?
Yes.
What is your average? What's your average monthly
Um,
winner?
Let me see. I have to pull that up. Hold on a second.
So I'm assuming you have TraderView, right?
Yeah, just let me pull up.
I'll take your time.
um,
But
Reports.
GNUS is a
Yeah.
good example.
So right now, the stats. Let me see here. Number of winning trades is 59%, and losing trades 37%.
Okay.
So my average holding time is like 4 minutes for the winners, and the losers is just 5 minutes.
Okay.
So usually, like when there's
Gotcha.
like a loss, right? I usually just like cut it quickly,
Okay.
but then like
Understood. I just wanted to get a grasp of what kind of trader you are.
yeah,
So now let's run into what you control the conversation, but let's have a situation where you're like, I saw the GNUS. I really like that example because it's in play and it's a I dug deep a little into it and before the offering and all that jazz. So we'll dig into that. But is there an area that you want us to focus on today? Something that we want to constantly, something that you're struggling with the most, or
yeah. I was just like thinking like, why I cut it like it was. I think it was like good that I cut it like over $1, right? Because if you just look back a little bit, the other day from like May 7th, it was like pretty much like there was a resistance in the pre-market, but it's like not a lot, right?
hmm,
And that was like pretty much the day high at around like the $1.05. So when I cut it there, um, like it pulled back, right?
hmm,
Like um, let me see here. I was like thinking, should I add more? but it was pretty much a resistance. If it broke out and
What
just went straight up, like,
what was your entry?
my entry was 94, 95 cents around there. I had two entries there.
At pre-market or at the open?
No, this is like around 11, 10:45 to 11.
Okay, gotcha. So what was your risk?
Um, so like after I exited and it came back down,
No, what was your risk? Do you
my
do risk?
risk,
I hope you do.
yeah, it was a dollar. If it broke like past a dollar, I would exit.
Was it like exactly? Are you at exact like you cut it
No,
exactly dollar? Or you do 101, 102? Is it a hard stop, soft stop?
no, it was just like I didn't put in the stop because on my platform, I'm using like the e-signal integrated with my interactive brokers, right?
Hmm.
So there is no stop on there. Like you have to like enter like this other money management strategy, and you have to like enter like how many ticks. So I didn't enter it, but I could just like place a stop right away. But I didn't do that the other day.
So you have a hard time placing stop? Does it take you a while or no?
No, it can be like really easy. All I have to do is just click. It's click a line on there, and they'll enter it right away.
Full size and everything?
Yeah, you
Okay.
just
Okay,
push in
that's
that
good.
amount, and then you just place down the sell order or whatever.
Can you convert it to hotkey?
Yeah, I have hotkeys.
Okay.
I have
Convert
one.
one to hotkey and one that liquidates all. So
Yeah.
your area, one thing that you want to talk about that you have like a repetitive issue is with what exactly? Is it stopping
Um,
out? Is it risk? What is it? Do you know?
I think it's like stopping out too quickly. Like I get afraid, when it starts to go red.
Okay.
So
So
I think like one of my problems are like maybe entries. After I
entries, yeah.
enter, and
Mm-hmm.
then I get FOMO, right? And I enter too early, sort of, and then
Okay.
yeah, just like
So I think your
uh
problem, sorry to cut you off. I think you're right. Your problem could be FOMO, could be fear, but I think it's more fear than anything. And I also
yeah,
think it could
I
be,
do have more fear.
it's sizing issue as well. So
Yeah.
clearly, whatever happened when you came into the Bitcoin world, I don't know if you were along Riot or any of the other names or whatever
Oh
happened,
no,
you
yeah,
took a loss, and
yeah,
that loss
big
has
loss.
scarred you, right? Exactly.
Yes.
So you see, you didn't even have to tell me that because I've helped out so many traders, and I myself have psychological problems and issues with this stuff. So you didn't have to tell me that, but I understood that. So I hope what I say you take not in a bad way, in a good way, with a good grain of
Yeah,
salt.
yeah, of course. Like, yeah,
Is it's The problem is derivative of your fear and your stop. You haven't accepted it. You haven't accepted it because of you haven't. So Brett Steinberg says, or one of the other author says, one is knowing how much you're going to lose. You're going to lose $100, $1,000. The dollar value doesn't mean shit. So
yeah,
one is knowing how much you're going to lose. Another key aspect is accepting the loss. You
yeah,
don't accept the loss. You don't accept it. It is because of
mhm,
trauma in the past or because you're using size or using dollar value. It could be for many reasons. It could be that you have, it could be that this money that you're trading with is the money that you're trying to pay the bills, or it could be that this money means a lot to you. So, how do we work with that? We work with that by reducing the living crap out of your size and consistently being okay. First off, you have to have a method that works. You have to have something that makes you a profitable factor. Once that is established, after that, you have to be okay with it. You know, this is gonna sound stupid. It's gonna sound stupid, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this. Have your stop at a $5, $10. Who gives a shit? have it at $10, 15, whatever. It doesn't. The dollar value doesn't matter. 2.5 years is a good time to be doing this. And I'm happy for you that you haven't kind of given up on it, but you gotta take the next step. So your issue is the fear. How do you get over it? First, acknowledge how the fear came. This would probably take a couple of hours to determine where your fear comes from. But sit down one day. Don't listen to music. Don't do nothing. Sit in the quiet. Ask yourself why. And this is a life lesson that you could. Anytime you go through some crap, you ask yourself why. Like each time something happens, it's like I'm fearful. Why? And then you make the statement, I'm fearful because I took a loss. Why did you take a loss? This. So if I'm fearful, then if I take a loss, this happened. And then you try to dig deeper into the layer. Once you figure
Yeah.
that out, it's an important key aspect, and then you try to find a mitigate solution, reducing your size and having confidence. So I think that's what it potentially is. And start a lot of the traders, sometimes, to be honest, including myself, I am a human being and I'm weak. Sometimes, especially because of my trading style, sometimes I slip up. And my risk management is not as good as I want. So, but oftentimes when I find that but I let things go over and under, and sometimes it skips. So I have to sometimes turn it on and be like, okay, have a hard stop. I need to have a hard stop. Uh, I need to have a hard stop here, etc. So try to utilize hard stop. You have to have a daily max loss. You have to. I think that's a mandatory because as traders, it takes one day for us to blow up, and especially
Yeah.
as short sellers. So you gotta do that. And the other thing is reduce size, my friend. That will help you acknowledge taking that loss.
Yeah, I think usually my starter size are like recently I would do only like 100, 200 shares, but then this size was 500 and 500. So it's like it wasn't
What's your
like a
dollar
lot of
value risk?
it was only like $1,000 in it, right?
No, no. What's
But
your
then
dollar risk when you
my
enter a trade?
risk,
Dollar risk. So you have to risk off
uh
of a dollar.
yeah, I usually just like pick an area to exit. Like I didn't really say, oh, how much. Like it was only $1,000, right?
No.
And
So don't reiterate how much capital is required. Any trade that you take, if you don't do this, this is a mandatory must. I apologize. I assume it was known. Um, so you have to have a dollar risk. So you can't trade, you can't risk $15 in one trade and like $200 in another unless it's meant on purpose. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So you can't always be trading a 500 lot or a 200 lot share in a $15 stock that has a $2 uh, like a dollar spread versus a $200 in a $1 stock. Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
So what is your dollar risk?
Like you mean like the what I was willing to risk, right? On this trade, right? In dollars, right?
Yeah.
Really, I didn't have like a dollar risk for that. I just wanted to like my like stop would have been like the $1 level,
Okay,
but
brother.
after it broke there, it's like I was sort of like trapped.
Okay, brother. So
You know, it's just the bid was just like going up and up and up.
so when did you stop out?
Around $1.05, $1.06, pretty much near the top.
Top tech. Okay. 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 I got you. So you had 1,000 shares
Yes.
and your entry was 94.95.
Yes. And my stop would have been like $1. It's just that I was just like, if it broke past here, I'll just get out.
Okay. So this is
Yeah.
a personal question.
Yeah.
How much does $100 mean to you? Is it a lot?
Nothing. I can lose like in business. I can lose like $5,000 a day, no problem, and I don't have a problem with that. But then like when it just like I hate being. I think like I don't like being wrong. That's the thing. You
All
know?
right, I'm gonna say this as nice as possible,
Yeah,
as nice as possible. Market will fuck you really hard, bro. Really fucking
yeah,
hard. Really, really hard. If you
yeah,
have an issue with fighting the market, bro, market will beat the living shit out of you, f you until you learn, until we learn, not you, until we learn that
yeah,
you gotta go with, don't fight it, man. The market is your friend. Don't have it as enemy. Who gives a shit about being wrong? Bro, if you're not wrong, you're not trading. It doesn't exist. I've seen some fucking person have like 5 months of green. Fucking doesn't exist, bro. You know who
yeah,
Mike Katz is?
yeah,
Okay, Mike Katz. Every fucking trader I know takes loss, bro. And I know you take losses, and I know that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
so now we know that we've discovered it's not a financial issue. First off, you do have to sort out how much. Do you know how much you risk per trade on a normal A plus setup? Dollar risk?
Risk?
Yeah,
No, I don't have dollar risk. I just,
you need to have a dollar risk, bro.
yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're controlling your emotions.
Hmm.
On an average trade,
Yeah.
you know what? From now moving on, try to adjust. I'm sorry, maybe I should. This is an important thing, and you keep, like, write notes on this. You need
Hmm.
to calculate what your R would be that you're comfortable with losing. If it's $100, let it be $100. So next time you have a $1 stop, you can only trade 100 shares. Whatever dollar value
Yeah.
you're comfortable losing. What's the dollar value you're comfortable losing? Do you know? In a day
Yeah.
or in per trade? Do you know? Have any idea? What's your average winning losing?
Cost per trade. What was that?
What's your average loser? Average winner? Do you know?
Uh,
Or is if you don't have to share if you don't want, you're not comfortable.
let me see. Just gotta pull it up again. My average loser in dollars, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think it's around 320.
Okay.
Oh no, wait, that's no. It's I think this is wrong right now. Let me see. Hold on. It's around average loss.
Are you using TraderView?
Yeah, I'm using TraderView. I had the wrong. I typed in the wrong. I had a symbol on there.
Okay. Okay.
Average loss. Average losing trades around 100.
Okay. So you're
Yeah,
comfortable. $100 doesn't mean much to you. So,
yeah,
well, so what you gotta do, every single one of your trade, bro, if $100 doesn't
yeah,
mean to you, you need to put $100 risk in a trade. Don't put high, don't put low. Okay? So what happens is right now you're going through all these flusterfuck of these emotions that goes up, down, up, down. How do you stabilize this? You stabilize this by universalizing the risk. You can't compare apples to oranges. You make everything by one. So if the stock had 10-cent risk, account for slippage. Okay, whatever your stop is, always account for like 3-4 cents slippage.
hmm,
Whatever. I usually use a metric of spread. So if it's a $10, like here, $10 cent or and a 12 cent, whatever, then that means you could share 1,000. If it's if it's a dollar spread, if it's a dollar risk, then you can use 100 shares. So try to use that. This will help you control your emotions. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So that's that. Did you have any other questions? Because I can talk about GNUS from a fundamental aspect. Really, I
Yeah,
like
like
research.
what would you have done on this day on like
Okay.
on May 13th? What would you have done?
On May
Because like
13th. What the heck?
on
I'm looking
did
at
you see
7th.
yeah, did you see on May 7th it had a offering, right?
So I'll tell you.
Pre-market.
I'll tell. Are you good with filings or no? Probably not.
I just check if there's like a 424 and then if there's S3
Okay.
and then the effect.
So
That's all
this.
I checked.
So this.
As
This
long
is.
as it has that, then I'll short.
So this is gonna be crazy. I was actually long bias on the day of the
Yeah.
offering, and after the offering. So this is a very cool golden
Which
nugget
day?
on the 7th. So even
On the
after
7th.
an offering, I knew that they
Yeah.
were going to do another offering, and I was long bias on it. And
Hmm.
believe it or not, even on day 2 post offering, I was long. But then I got caught with the second mid offering, and I was like, oh, frick, it's done. Okay, khalas. Game over.
Yeah,
Good. See you later. Okay,
yeah. There was an offering midday the next day on the 8th.
it happened twice back to back.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's in a row. So
so do you want me to go into that detail, or you want to utilize your time for
yeah,
something else?
yeah. I want to hear you.
Okay, so in this case, what happened was obviously, you do your basic research on the filing perspective, and then you determine amount of cash is low to the offering they need, the cash left to cash burn, and then you do the baby shelf calculation, and then you determine that on first day they don't they need a high close. They shouldn't be doing an offering on day one. But they because the reason is when they did an offering, they were only able to raise 3 months of cash. So that's why at the open pre-market I was long GNUS because I was like, I know that they're gonna fucking pull an MBOT. You remember MBOT when they did two offerings?
Oh, but I didn't know they had an offering two
MBOT
times.
had
I didn't
two
trade
or
it.
three times, yeah.
Yeah.
So what
All
happens
I
is,
know it ran.
why did it happen? It happened because the offering was not sufficient enough to make them last for more than 3 months. Sorry, so like it was less than 6 months. So they were gonna do another offering. So that's why I was
Mm.
long biased, and I sold into the pops and I bought the dips. And then even
Hmm.
on day two, I was buying a little bit. I was like stopped out and then rebought. And then I had a very small size and I was like, okay. I had a feeling that before the second offering, they would get a high close. They were gonna close it above one and it's gonna skip to like $2 plus. But then they had the second offering. So my
Yeah.
play and my thought process was that there was gonna be two offerings. And by the way, even now, this is a very tricky one. A lot of the guys that I consider big boys, like ECNC Tom Kelly. I don't know if you know him. He doesn't talk much on Twitter, but he does now. So overall, it has a lot of capital structure issues. So I was long biased on the full freaking thing until the second offering, and then I cut my loss, and I was like, okay, whatever, shit happens, doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So and now they have. So what's interesting now is now they squeezed it up to $1.80, $1.95,
Yeah.
and the amount of overhead that they have. I don't know if you've been following it. Yesterday, as of Friday, they had they were gonna reduce the prices for the warrants, and they were gonna let the notes be convertible. It was $1.3075, and now a warrant. So here's the tricky part. I'm either gonna sound like a fool, or I hope it doesn't happen because I do have a short position on it.
Hmm.
But I think so. I was talking to some of my friends, and I think if the notes have to be registered, that would be a problem because right now there's notes and the warrants. The warrants are 44 cents, so of course they're deep in the money. They're going to be diluting.
Yeah.
But so I think more than likely what they would do is so the best case scenario here is they're going to take a short position against it until the notes, if the notes have to get registered, until the notes get registered, etc. Um, but a lot of people may be short bias on it a bit early, and I hope it doesn't squeeze, which would fucking suck. But there is a chance that I have to go and double check if the notes have to be registered and the warrants have to be registered. There is a possibility that they may not dump and there may be a crowded short because a lot of the guys that are in Twitter, a lot of people are like, yeah, this is a piece of shit. This is gonna go down, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I put on a big position yesterday. I took a stop as it spiked up, and then I just put it on after. I was like, okay, well, we'll see how it goes. In the long run, it is gonna go down, right? Like
Yeah.
everything in small cap, but this one especially with the capital structure. So this is something that's not like furu guru, and it was a perfect timing. You had a perfect example, so I couldn't pass the opportunity to speak up on it. By the way, these are my thought process. They're not investment advice for anybody that freaking wants to hear. Don't listen to what I'm saying. I'm gonna take a loss potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do have a short position on it. There isn't a potentially go down, but at the same time, I think that's an important variable that's kind of not being talked about. And I think a lot of people on Twitter are just go by what a large majority of people say. In the long run, if they dilute the amount of over they had, this is gonna go down to like, I think it's gonna go down to 15 cents, 20 cents. But if they don't, it could, like, there have been many stocks that just kept going and going, and they had offerings after another. They had capital structures issues, and then squeeze. Okay, brother. So that's a GNUS. What else you want to talk about?
Um, Scaling. I see that you on your charts you recycle a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a good thing and a bad thing. But okay, go ahead. What's up?
So usually when you're scaling and you're recycling, what are your like um sizes? Like just example, if it's like 100 shares and 200 shares, or like are you just using the same size every time, or?
That's a very good question. So that is something that actually I was gonna say I'm working on, but I'm actually alhamdulillah, I've gotten decent at it. So what is my sizing? So so I don't believe in sharing P&L and sizes because I
Well,
don't
yeah,
think it
I'm
benefits.
just saying like
Yeah, yeah, but
example.
I'll get to
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So how I differentiate it and how we should be thinking about it as traders is the front side and back side. So
Yeah.
I learned from Ozark, and I've mentioned it almost every single helping one-on-one. Phil something. Phil Ozark. Phil Gord. So front side, I try to use only one third size. I don't add to a loser. So um, my metric that I'm trying to do is I try to add to a winner in three tiers. This is my idea, something that works for me. So I
Hmm.
have something called a normal size in my head. This is how I categorize it, which essentially kind of like works on convictions. If I find something that's an A plus plus plus, like APDN, I got squeezed, but I had a lot of conviction on that one, and I put on heavier size. And I think as you can see, I was adding to winner, and I was adding down, 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 down. And I'm supposed to do break even because when I have too much size, I get hurt. So if it's a normal play and it's not something that I have a super duper conviction on, I use my one third size at the front, and then usually I try to have. Um, Lately, I've been realizing I have like 10 to 20 entries, but it's like at spots. But one thing that I'm kind of working on that I need to work on better is I need to have maybe three spot ads or two spots ads, three ad spots. For one, it keeps the losers small. So at the front side, I have one third. I try to add to
Hmm.
winner. And being very frank, if you have smaller size, like you can do it, but I don't know. I'm not sure. You could decide what you want. But usually on the front side, it's one third. And then after that, I add to a winner. I add to a winner. Uh, I don't add to a loser. I never try to. If I do it, it'll probably be 1 in 50 trades that I'll add to a loser. Sometimes it's just a parabolic short, and I feel like super extended, blah blah blah. So one third of the front side, and then if I'm wrong, I cut it, and then one third I start one third again, and I'm like, okay, now it's made a higher, lower high, lower low or something, and then I just add on the pops, risking the previous pops, and uh, and then I add to that. Does that help?
When you're adding on
Yes.
the pops, is it always the same size, or are you doubling it, or like, you know?
That's a very good question as well. Um, at the moment, for me, it is a relatively the same size because my brain is not as fast computing as I want it to be. But I think ideally, I know friends that do add more size. So whatever your starter size is, usually whatever my size is, I add the same amount. Uh, Sometimes a bit more, but it's usually the same. The whole point in trading, bro, is you gotta keep your mental thing right. There's no such a thing. There's nothing you will find from me or anybody else that you'd be like, shit, if I do this, I'm gonna be like fucking balling. Everything's gonna work out. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That will not happen. That will not happen. So for me, keeping it simple, stupid is beneficial. right? So if I have a lot of complex metrics, like I have to double up and I have to triple up from that, I have to do that, and then I have to constantly calculate, okay, if this goes 10 cents against me now that I've tripled up, okay, I need to calculate. I need to have a break even, because if you're doubling up and tripling up, one time it goes against you and you have a tendency to freeze, which is sometimes is my weakness, not all the time. But you got to
Yeah.
have a lot of metrics in place. I've been trading for 12 years. I have a daily max loss. I have like a risk level that I always have. I have hard stops and things like that. So for me, I keep it the same size, but there is merits into doubling it up. But if you were to ask me, you're a beginner trader and you're trying to become consistent, keep it simple. In my opinion, keep it consistent share size. So one third, one third, one third, and this way, your head, you're always measuring the risk. You're always measuring, okay, this is my average, and now I'm at whatever. This is my stop, right? So whenever you add, you always want to have a risk level. Do you want to risk at the original level, or you want to break it down, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to risk your average, or
Yeah.
and then let me add something else to this. So this is something that's a bit more complex with conviction, but it's very dangerous too. So one mindset that I have, which helps me a lot,
Mm-hmm.
is I have a normal size,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have a full size, and I have uncomfortable size. And often I associate uncomfortable size with size that I would want to shit my pants with if it goes against me. And I'm like, oh fuck, like, that I want to put that kind of size when I'm deep in the money, and
Mm-hmm.
there's benefits to that. So that is kind of how I categorize it and how I keep my trading progress to be growing consistently. So yeah. So but whenever I
Mm-hmm.
get to like an uncomfortable size, I don't have an option. I tell myself, you better fucking put a hard stop. Hard stop at
Yeah.
break even. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care if they hit my stop, they come bring it down, doesn't matter. Have to have it at break even. Have
Yeah.
to have it at break even. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What like usually when you talk to people, what problems are they mostly having right now?
Risk management. Everybody has risk management issues. Everybody that's struggling from. A, by the way, it's a beautiful question. You're a smart guy for asking that. That's very smart of you. Everybody has. So going from anybody that's going from a trying to become a successful, consistent trader, they all have risk management issues.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, Brotherhood. What
Yeah.
else would you like to look at or talk about?
Um, I think that's about it for today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll have to work on that then. With the max dollar loss.
Yes. And have a daily stop loss. You have a max loss in
Yeah.
your account.
No, I didn't set that yet.
Okay, you need to set that up 100%. Have
Yeah.
that set up because based on the way we talked, I have a feeling that you will take big losses. So have it set so that it on average it doesn't take more than 3 days, 3 days to a week. So if you're
Yeah.
risking to get back, so maybe 500 or 550, whatever you want, something like that. 551,
Yeah.
something like that.
When I call the broker, do you know like if let's just say I wanna like max for this week, I wanna
It'd be daily
like
loss.
would it be like a daily loss or would
It'd
it
be
be like
daily
just
loss.
okay, so when they set that, how do they just cover my
They set the
like does the
position.
broker yeah, the broker will just like cut me out right away then, right?
Yep,
Is that how it works?
yep, yep.
Oh.
And it's healthy. And you
Do,
have
do you know if it's like if they would cut my loss, would it be like a market sell or like a limit? Like what would it
market
like
sell.
how would it Oh,
Market
okay.
sell. Don't worry about saving a few cents. All of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't worry about that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, brother.
All
Great
right.
chats. Have a
Thanks
wonderful
a
day.
lot for your call. Yeah.
Anytime. Hope you have a wonderful day,
Yeah.
brother. Take care.
Yeah, you
Bye.
too. Thanks.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Amigos, if you guys found this beneficial, click like, subscribe, and most important of all, share it with somebody who may benefit from this. And let me know if you have questions, comments in the comment below. I generally do look at the comments and try to respond within the first hour. So if it helps you put notification bell on, cool. If not, no problem. All the best, amigos. Take care. Bye.